Good morning, I'm Roly. I'm one of the custodians of this beautiful woodland in the heart of Derbyshire. And today it's video blog 146. There is an old way of speaking about people who live close to the land, a way that places them at a distance, as if they stood somehow beneath the gaze of those who carry later. You hear it in their language, in a quiet suggestion that they did not observe closely, that their knowledge was mixed with superstition, that their understanding was incomplete. And yet, when you come out here into the woodland and you begin to sit with the plants themselves, that idea starts to fall away. Because to gather a plant, truly gather it, is not a careless act. It asks something of you. It asks that you notice where it grows, how the light falls on it, what time of year it chooses to appear, and when it begins to withdraw again. It asks that you recognize not just its shape, but its presence. And so when we hear that people once followed rituals in the gatherings of plants, that they spoke words, that they moved in certain ways, that they chose particular times, it is easy from a distance to call them superstitious. But standing here, it feels like something else entirely. It feels like attention giving form. There were those long ago who made their living through the roots and leaves of plants. They were called many things, sometimes dismissed as simple or unlearned. And yet they carried knowledge that could not easily be written down. They knew where to go, what to take, and how to take it. Their understanding lived in the body, in repetition, in memory, passing from one person to another. And alongside that knowing, there were gestures, small acts that accompanied the gathering, not because the plan demanded it, but because the relationship did. Then over time, another way of seeing begins to emerge. The plant is no longer only something to be gathered, but something to be studied, described and ordered. It is brought into systems, into texts, into a kind of structure that seeks to make sense of the whole. And there is value in that, to look closely, to compare, to draw, to name. All this deepens our understanding in a different way. But something shifts when the plant becomes an object of knowledge rather than a presence in the world. And so you find yourself between these two ways, one that moves with the plant and one that stands back from it, one that is lived and one that is written, one that gathers and one that categorizes, and perhaps neither is complete on its own. Because even now, we still carry fragments of those older ways. People still wait for the right moment to pick. They still feel that same times are better than others. Even they cannot always say why. They are still quiet habits that persist, small pauses before taking something from the ground, gestures that have no place in a book, but continue nonetheless. Out here, the plant does not concern itself with whether we call it science or superstition. It continues as it always has, and perhaps what matters is not which way is right, but whether we are paying attention at all, whether we are willing to step closer to look properly and to allow the plan to be more than just a thing we name. Because in the end, it may be that those were once dismissed as not seeing clearly were in their own way seeing something we have only just begun to remember again. So I do hope you enjoyed this Custodians of the Woodland, and I do hope to see you again.